my name is Cyr, and I'm here today with Jan Val Ellam. This is our new channel on YouTube, and we'll start bringing some information about an issue called Cosmic Reintegration, which is part of a larger spectrum of the cosmic revelation. Jan Val Ellam has over 50 books published in Brazil, thousands of lectures, and many online courses that he has given over more than 3 decades of work. He is here today to share some of his knowledge with us and to cover some initial basic ground so we can understand what is the cosmic reintegration and how does that impact our day-to-day life and the future generations that can absorb this information and learn with it. Hello, Jan Val.
Hello, Cyr. Thank you very much.
Thank you, too, for being here. It's a pleasure. I would like to start with some information about yourself, some personal information. So, where were you born? When were you born? And can you talk a little bit about your early life?
Before we start, I would like to say that English is not my first language. I was born in Natal, a city in the northeast east of Brazil, and I never intended to do what I'm doing today. So, this is my place of birth, Natal.
Okay,
A
very
very
well.
nice city.
Yes, I heard it's a very sunny city.
Yes,
Yes.
it call it the Sun City or
Oh,
Sunshine City,
very nice. Very
something like
nice.
that.
Very well. Well, let's start with some, basic information. So, how did you start with? How did this information come to you? How did it start? How did you receive? What was your initiation within this topic of the cosmic reintegration or revelation?
My initiation was very strange because it was when I was 17 years old. And a man asked me in certain situation I was looking for, was trying to buy fish. And he asked me, "What's your name?" I said, "Rogério," because my real name is Rogério. Jan Val Ellam is the nickname that I decided to use at that time when I began to write. And this man asked me about my name. I said, Rogério, and he asked me again, Rogério what? And I said, Rogério Almeida Freitas. And he said, "You were born in 1959? I said to him, yeah. He said, "In what month? In April?" I said, yes. So this man looked at me and said, "You are the responsible. You are the one who will have to explain about something that at that time he called the third wave." And he took a very big black book from a space behind the table he was sitting and showed me many pages written in a blue
Writing.
writing. And he said, "This is your history. This is your Kabbalistic symbols. This is your," and said many things, because you have 3 names, Rogério Almeida Freitas. Each name has 7 letters. So number 3 and 7 letters in each name means that, so he spoke too much. And I looked at him and I said again, I came here just to
Buy
buy
fish,
fish.
yes.
And he asked me to wait a little bit more. He took the phone and called for some people. and said to me, I have to tell you. 5 years ago, in a meeting, he said to me, I made part of a group that has some kind of contact with spirits, with beings of another dimension or something like that. And he said that 5 years ago, somebody called Krishna, in accordance to what he said. At that time, this being called Krishna said to the group, used somebody as a medium, that that group one day will find the one who will be responsible for the third wave that will prepare the mankind to some facts, some events that will happen. And the man looked at me again and said, yesterday night, 5 years after that day, we were together in another meeting, and the same being called Krishna spoke to us that tomorrow morning we will find the one. So you came to me this morning, so you are the one. I was 17.
That's a lot of information.
Yeah, so I look at that man, I looked to that man, said to him, okay,
You must be mistaken.
bye-bye.
It's not me.
I cannot understand. I cannot, at that time, I understood, and I know, and I think he knew that. I was afraid, I was,
You were taken back with the information. Yeah.
yeah, so it was my initiation that you asked.
Yeah. That's pretty interesting. Different, but interesting. So that was a very unusual story.
Yeah.
Most people would find that pretty strange. After this initial contact with this person, how did you start to deal with this information? How did this become part of your daily life, if it did or not? How did that impact you?
I simply forgot. I was 17. I got married at 21. When I was 21, so 3 kids came soon. So I forgot.
Life became your priority.
Yeah.
Yes.
But when I was 27 years old, 10 years later, I began to see spirits. I began to coexist with another kind of beings by my side, around me all the time, almost all the time. And I,
How did you feel at this time? Was this something that was normal for you? Did you understand what was happening?
yeah, I already, I had already studied the spiritual revelation by Allan Kardec, the 19th century. And I did understand what was happening to me. So every day, something from spirituality came to my life. And someday, in fact, in a Sunday night, in 1968, for the first time, I heard somebody talking to me. I am your friend. My name is Adolfo, is a Portuguese name. And we are here to begin to prepare you to. But I didn't, at that time, I didn't remember
Your previous conversation.
Yeah,
Yes.
my previous conversation with that man in the city of Niterói in Rio de Janeiro city, in Rio de Janeiro state. So I was with my spiritual friends many, many times, and I began to to feel it as if it was the normal side
Okay.
of the life, the normal way to live with my,
You start to get used to this interaction.
yeah, I began to live with my brothers and sisters of mankind and others, brothers and sisters of other way of life.
Was
Of
your
living.
family aware of this? This was happening.
Yeah,
You know, they
all the
were.
time.
Okay.
Yeah, during my work, during my day, during my lazy times, during my all the time. So in 1990, in 1991, I began to write because they began to show me some kind of movie, and I look at those scenes and a kind of power involved me, and I began to write. And at the same time, I listened to some people talking to me. So I was looking,
You're interpreting the images,
interpreting
hearing
the,
a little bit what they were saying to you,
yeah,
and putting that on paper.
yeah. So I spent all my time after my kids were going to sleep. So from 10, 11 p.m. until 2, 3 a.m. during 6 years, from 1991 to 1996, 97, I had more than 100 notebooks because I didn't have computer at
Yes.
that time.
Hmm.
So this is how things happened at that time.
And these conversations that you were having, the information that was being passed to you, it was different information. Was it kind of the same line? Did it come from different people? Like each textbook, would it cover different topics?
I'm not sure about it, but I think there are many people, many kinds of beings, of different beings, doing that.
Okay.
But my focus, my mind focus, was on the scenes
Okay.
I was watching, to trying to understand something about that because I had to write. And the strange thing I have to tell you is that I I was not tired of that.
You're enjoying it.
I worked from 7 a.m. until 6, 7 p.m. in Caixa Econômica Federal, a bank
A bank in Brazil.
here in
Mhm.
Brazil. And
You had energy to keep on going.
yeah, yeah.
That's interesting.
And in the 1996, I knew a woman in a hotel, and she ordered me to give a message from spirits to me.
Oh,
And I
okay.
asked myself, oh, I'm in a hotel. So she said, in fact, somebody took her and spoke to me,
Okay.
put a finger in
She was just the messenger.
yeah, and said something like that. Do you think we are clowns? Because you are giving you during
Many years.
many years, many informations just to just for
To
you to
fill up,
know.
yeah, just for you to know,
No,
yeah.
you have to organize and you have to. And I didn't like what
The conversation became serious.
yeah. And that woman called me to dinner with her husband. They were at the same hotel. But so we changed cards, information cards. 1 month later, she called me on the phone, but somebody told her that I was in São Paulo, and she was from São Paulo. And somebody told her that I was in the meeting of managers of bank in some hotel at 7 o'clock p.m. When I was getting into the hotel, I saw her and her husband, and she said, "I'm sorry, I had to look for you because I cannot sleep."
I have some more messages for
I
you.
have one more message for you, and I have to tell you, I need to sleep. So I looked for a publisher for your books, and I look at her and ask, "Who tell you I have books?" And she said, "I saw many manuscripts above your head, above my head." So I think she was saying uh, those manuscripts will become books. And I knew I had more than 100 notebooks,
Yeah.
and each one notebook.
Would be enough for a book.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is the way I began to publish it. So I decided, okay, really. So at that time, I had to remember my previous talking with the man
In Niterói.
in Niterói that told me that I had to do that. So I thought to myself, and I said to me, I will not use my name. I am a manager of a bank. So I decided to use a nickname. At that time, somebody called me and said, as you already decided to use a nickname,
Yeah.
we would like to give you one, to propose you a nickname. And I said, okay, if what was written is all right, it will be good for anybody. The name of the author,
Yeah. Yeah.
doesn't have any kind of importance for me.
Mm.
So I listened for the first time, but Jan Val Ellam. And I remember I wrote and put Ellam, E-L-A-M. And the voice said 2 L's, E-L-L-A-M. I don't know why until today. And I asked, why don't you give me a Brazilian name? And the voice said, no, your spirit never was born in Brazil. This was the first time. So this name has many things was linked to the past, to many lives in the past. One day you will understand. And this is the way how
it started.
at that time, how it started.
So that was a very interesting story. So you mentioned that in the beginning you would hear some voices, you saw mental pictures in front of you of what was happening. So what would you would call these entities? Spirits? Are these extraterrestrials? Are these extra physical beings? What would these entities be? What would they be classified as?
At that first moment, they were spirits,
Okay.
human spirits.
Human spirits, okay.
But those guys, they told me in the 90s years that before 2000, before the year 2000, probably I will have some kind of encounter with extraterrestrial beings.
Okay.
And it really happened. in November of 1999. For the first time, I had an encounter of a big craft over the sea, stopped in front of me. I was working my I had a job of manager of hotels at the time. So for the first time, they told me before, today we'll be together for the first time.
Oh, okay.
And it happened. And in during 4 days of January month the next year, 2000, I had four kinds of encounters, contact with them.
The same entities,
No,
different ones.
the same group, but
Okay.
there were two ships,
Okay.
two kind of ships completely different. And if I'm not wrong, in 23rd of January in 2000, some newspapers in Natal talked about an UFO
Okay.
that flew from all over the city at night.
So more people saw it apparently.
Many people
Oh, okay.
saw that. So I had to think as normal, to find myself dealing
Dealing with these people.
with this kind of people. So here I was having spiritual companies and
Yeah.
extraterrestrial
Mm-hmm.
companies that in mental contact, mind contact.
Did their approach with you, was it different from the spiritual
Yeah.
people? Is a different nature the way they communicate with you?
Yeah, it was different. As if spiritual, we have many channels between. That's what happened to me. Between it will depend of the spirit, of the kind of the spirit, and so many channels there are in the spiritual contact, as I think. But with that people, only one channel,
One channel.
completely defined. It's very strange. But the things were really complex to my side. In 2004, 2005, and 6, I had to discover that beyond spirituality, beyond extraterrestrial, I had to discover that extra physical beings, that's my way to call them,
Okay.
that belong to another universe. That is neighbor of
Hours.
ours. If our universe is made by material, this one is made by anti-material.
Okay.
And if our universe has galaxies, stars, planets, moons, this one is completely different.
Okay.
It has realms, celestial realms,
Okay.
made of plasma and sustainable by the power of the mind of the people who live there,
Okay.
extraterrestrial beings. So
Extra physical
extra
beings.
physical beings. So it was very, very horrible to me. No, I knew about them. I didn't have problems with spirit,
Exactly.
with extraterrestrial beings, but with this kind of people, wow,
So
it
what you're
was not
saying
easy.
is was the information that these beings were bringing to you different of the information that the spirits were bringing to you?
Completely different.
It opened up a new page, a new understanding of different things.
Yeah. At that time, I had to understand that mythology
Okay.
is the most important informations we have. Even today, we think mythology is shit.
Yeah.
Mythology is untruth. Mythology is
Just stories,
just
yeah,
stories. Yeah,
legends.
but it's not.
And this was brought to you by these extra physical beings.
Yeah,
They started to talk about this area of mythology.
yeah. So my life changed for worse in a way difficult to explain using the words I have. So it's not easy. I have to say again to deal with this
Yes.
kind of beings. And until today, I have some,
Have a hard time.
yeah, I have some. I try to discover how is the best way or the possible way
Okay. To
that
interact with them.
yeah, to interact with them. It's not easy. So the books are right. The books I wrote.
Hmm.
Um, some part I talk about what the spirits said
Yes.
to me. Another one, the other one is
Extraterrestrials? Yes.
extraterrestrials in the context of cosmic reintegration.
Within our universe.
Yeah, and
Now we're talking about a completely different
cosmic
situation.
revelation that includes
Yes, another universe.
another universe and the hopes and the
The wishes.
bad things
Hmm.
that those who live there uh, made not only to each other but with the mankind in
In the past,
the
ancient
past,
times.
ancient times. So we have to look to the mythologies with another lens.
When you were receiving this information in the beginning from the spirits, were you aware who was bringing this information to you? Would they present themselves? Would they say, I'm here to help you understand this, or I would like to inform you about this? Or was it just, I would just hear a voice and I didn't even know who was talking to me?
Now, um, if I had if I have to answer your question, talking about spirits, sometimes I don't know who's talking.
Okay.
Many, many times I don't know. The extraterrestrial beings, it's a kind of contact uh, easy to to see what's happened because it says we are here. So, but with these people, it's completely different because they, as if it was as if they opened space time, and you,
Put your head in there and say, okay,
yeah, and
this is what we
so
have to show you.
yeah,
Yeah.
and the the one who looked for me and to and give me more reasons to do what I'm doing is the that being who one day chose Moses, Abraham, Muhammad, and now I had to listen that he was choosing me.
It was your turn.
Yeah, so I look at that face and I said that being you're not serious. You are, I don't like this kind of thing. I don't have faith. I'm not a faith man. I'm so look for another one. But the,
He was persistent.
he was persistent in everything we can read at the Bible. Enoch was the one who was chosen by this being called Jehovah or Yahweh, the God of the Bible, the God of the Jews. And Enoch asked him, why do you make your chosen one suffer so much? Because it's really sick. Coexist with that one.
This kind of brings me back to the question of your name. Did you ever find out a little bit about why the nickname was given to you?
This being since 1904 in a hiding way, but since 2004. 2004 in a hiding way, and 2007
He shows
clearly.
up. Yeah.
From that time to 2018, 2019, every day of my life, he was trying to take me as a horse, to take me as a...
Kind of dominate you.
Yeah, mind domination. It was very, very difficult to... I'm a survivor, right? I'm a survivor, that's all. And he wanted me to submit to him, to create a new religion, to blah, 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 blah. And I said to him, you are crazy. I don't know if you are really who you think you are, if you are really Javé. It doesn't matter to me. I don't like you. I don't want anything from you. If I had something, my position as a human being, a little human being, but if I had something, I have something that you want, so just let me know and give you. No, it's not the way. You have to submit yourself to my will. You have to be the one who I trust. If I say go to the right, you have to go to the right, go to the left, go to the left.
Almost like a puppet.
Yeah, I'm not going anywhere with
Yes, yeah.
So I will make suffer same way. Joe is a name, a biblical name, was a man that suffered too much because Satan, in a kind of, I don't know how can I say in English, aposta.
A bet.
Between Javé or Yahweh and Satan, and the man called Joe was the one who suffered, and nobody was concerned about him. So he said that will make to me even worse.
If you didn't do his
and
wishes.
He did.
Yeah.
And he did. So even though I wrote many books, I made 300, 400, 500 different lectures about these subjects that were lost, that were
the so-called
away.
mythology.
Yeah, everything about the so-called mythologies that we've forgotten about these issues.
Very well. So, Jan Val, thank you very much for being here today. It was a very fruitful conversation. It enjoyed it a lot. I think that most of our viewers will enjoy these topics that you're bringing too. And I hope to see you again here soon. Our channel will have more and more of this information that you have to bring to us. So it was very nice, and I hope to see you soon.
Thank you very much. I have, again, to apologize for my English, but here I am trying to explain the
The inexplainable.
unexplainable.
Yes. Okay, thank you very much. Well, thank you for being with us today, and I hope to see you soon here on our channel where we'll have more conversations with Jan Val Ellam, the Brazilian writer of the Cosmic Reintegration subject and topic. Thank you.